Humans keep building things they're told are impossible, and honestly, geography always forces them to get creative. These structures, they just seem to defy physics and sometimes, even common sense itself. Let's start with number 40, Storendet Bridge in Norway. Engineers told Norway this bridge couldn't be built, the storms alone would destroy it, but they built it anyway, and well, the result is the Drunk Bridge. The Store-Size-Undippet Bridge's steep twisting arch isn't just for show. The coastal storms were so violent that engineers had to abandon conventional bridge design entirely and actually build a wave into the structure just to keep it standing. The iconic shape helps turn chaos into stability. This next one is held together with nothing but stones, and it's been standing for centuries. Number 39. This bridge shouldn't even exist. Located in a German park, the Devil's Bridge forms a perfect stone circle when reflected in the water below. There was no cement available, so engineers had to rely entirely on stones crushing against each other with enough force to hold the arch together. Although the bridge was renovated back in 2018, it remains closed to the public for safety reasons. But bridges don't have to be boring, just like this next one. Number 38. What do you do when you need a bridge for cars, but there's a pedestrian crossing in the way? Well, you build on top of it. That's exactly what Seoul did with the Bonpo Bridge. Cars can cross the water with ease, while the old Jono Bridge below, not so lucky, it disappears underwater whenever the Han River floods. Number 37. In India, concrete and steel just don't last long in the jungle. So, the Warhasi people stopped building bridges and instead started growing them. They actually guide the roots of rubber trees across rivers using hollowed-out tree trunks. It's, slow work. Sometimes it takes 15 to 20 years. But when the bridge is finally ready, it can hold 50 people at once. Okay, quick question. Think you could walk on a bridge made of grass? Number 36. Imagine crossing a deep gorge in the Andes on a bridge made of grass. That's exactly what the Keshwaka Bridge is. It's made of 20,000 pounds of hand-braided Ichu grass, stretching 92 feet and weaving it into massive cables and a swaying floor. It was constructed in just 3 days by local Ketwa communities, representing an uninterrupted 500-year-old tradition. It looks terrifying, but somehow, it works, and is just perfectly built for the mountains. And now for something that is, honestly, less bridge and more trust exercise. Number 35, the Carragher Reed Rope Bridge in Northern Ireland. A small Northern Irish island used by fishermen was completely inaccessible by boat during salmon season, and honestly, the drop was just too severe for any permanent structure. Their solution was a rope bridge, no real supports, and for years it had a single handrail. The bridge is open to the public who can pay around $20 to find out if they suffer from vertigo. Next up, is it a bridge or a clock? Why not both? Number 34. Thanks to environmental concerns, California's Sundial Bridge has no riverbed pillars. Instead, a 217-foot-tall leaning pylon holds up the platform. On the summer solstice, its shadow becomes a working sundial, moving about a foot per minute. The shadow lets you watch the Earth's rotation in real time. Now, for a bridge where people don't just cross, they live on the thing. Number 33. Florence's Ponte Vecchio breaks all the rules. Most bridges just carry traffic, but this one supports shops and homes. After a devastating flood wiped out the original bridge, in 1333, Florence built an even stronger bridge, one that could survive the flood-prone Arno forever, all while holding 3 stories of buildings above. Moving along, believe it or not, you can sail a boat over the next bridge. Number 32. Believe it or not, in Germany, you can watch a ship sail on a bridge over a river. The 30,000-foot Magdeburg water bridge acts as a massive concrete bathtub, allowing vessels to travel between East and West Germany. It's essentially the world's longest navigable aqueduct. Completed in 2003 for $500 million, it's proof that sometimes the best way across water is more water. And we're just getting started. Wait until you see the bridge that twists, floats, and even disappears into the clouds. Number 31, the Queen Emma Bridge in Curaçao. The seafloor of the bay was just too soft to anchor any conventional foundation, which meant the entire bridge had to float. Or, well, it couldn't exist at all. So, the Queen Emma Bridge is basically a giant floating raft across a deep bay in Curaçao. Two diesel engines swing one end open like a door to let the ships pass, earning it the nickname, the Swinging Old Lady. It even survives tropical storms by riding the waves instead of fighting them. Netherlands and canals go hand in hand, and that means unique bridges. Number 30. In the Netherlands, the Slauerhof Bridge flips into the air like a giant mechanical arm to let boats pass underneath, all within 3 minutes. The busy canals meant it had to open fast without slowing city traffic. It's known as the Flying Drawbridge, but locals prefer to call it the Frog Bridge due to its unusual shape. Later on, you'll see a bridge that stacks two 6-lane roads on top of each other. Think double-decker, on a massive scale. Number 29. Ever seen a bridge wink? Gateshead's Millennium Bridge does just that, tilting its twin arch over the Tyne River to let ships pass underneath. Due to the amount of traffic, a fixed pedestrian crossing was impossible, and the city refused to build anything that looked industrial next to its new cultural quarter. So, they came up with a bridge that flirts with passing vessels. Let's head to China, and, well, a bridge that might just make you dizzy. Number 28, the Nanpu Bridge in China. Shanghai had no room on either bank for the long approach ramps that a bridge of this height required, so engineers had to stack the ramp vertically into a corkscrew, rather than, spread it horizontally across the city. Its double spiral on the Puxi side is actually the world's largest. Try not to get dizzy if you drive up it. The next bridge was inspired by, believe it or not, human coding. Number 27. Singapore's Helix Bridge twists like a giant strand of DNA, creating a truly one-of-a-kind pedestrian walkway. Since 2010, LEDs have lit pairs of colored letters, CG in red, A and T in green, representing DNA's building blocks. Its intentional left-handed design even earned it a spot in the Left-Handed DNA Hall of Fame. How many bridges can claim that? This next bridge, well, is it a thrill-seeker's dream or just an optical illusion? Number 26. Some photos of Eshima Ohashi Bridge in Japan make its steep incline look like a vertical cliff, or honestly, a roller coaster. In reality, its 6.1% gradient is just enough for ships to pass safely underneath. At 1.1 miles long, it's Japan's largest rigid frame bridge, and it's built to withstand earthquakes. Meanwhile, constructing this next walkway was a challenge, even for helicopters. Number 25. The Langkawi Sky Bridge is one of the world's most isolated walkways, hanging from a single 269-foot-high pylon on a Malaysian mountainside. Every piece had to be lifted to the top by heavy-lift helicopters. At 410 feet long, it's also one of the world's longest curved suspension bridges. And despite all that engineering, it only cost about $1.2 million to build. We've seen waves, winking, and a whole lot of wire. And that's just the start. Let's keep this baffling bridge tour going. Number 24. The Golden Bridge in Vietnam is supported by two massive fiberglass hands. The 490 FT walkway curves around the mountainside, with the hands lifting the golden path high into the air. It's supposed to represent the hands of God raising a golden ribbon. And when you're building a bridge, you may as well go big. Number 23. The Millau Viaduct is one of the tallest bridges in the world. Soaring over 1,100 feet, higher than the Eiffel Tower, surrounded by a deep gorge, it's often shrouded in clouds, making it feel like you're driving in the sky. It's widely considered one of modern engineering's greatest achievements, and when normal construction methods don't work, go to the army. Number 22. The Sidu River Bridge in China. Helicopters couldn't cross over the canyon. Wind ripped the cables apart, so engineers did something no one had ever tried before. They fired a rocket across the void. This move saved months of dangerous work. The bridge's massive cables are so strong they can each support 43 million lb of force, holding the structure safely above the canyon. Coming up, an icon of modern engineering. But first, let's check out a bomb-proof structure. Number 21. High in the Himalayas, the Chenab Bridge sources almost 1,200 feet above the riverbed in Jammu and Kashmir in India, making it the world's highest railway bridge. With no room for pillars, engineers built a 1,500 ft steel arch spanning the Chenab River. Built to last 120 years, It can withstand high winds, earthquakes, and even explosions of up to 40 tons of TNT. Moving along, did you know the Eiffel Tower wasn't the architect's first grand design? Number 20. Gustave Eiffel's Garabie Viaduct was once the world's tallest bridge, featuring a 541 parabolic iron arch. Its striking red color was designed to stand out against the surroundings. The viaduct also showcased Eiffel's mastery of iron construction years before he built his most famous monument in Paris, now one of the most famous bridges in literature. Number 19. Glenfinnan Viaduct was built from unreinforced mass concrete, the first major structure of its kind since Roman times, stretching over 12,200 pas de deux. It later became world famous thanks to Harry Potter. We couldn't have a video about bridges and not discuss the Romans a little bit, right? Number 18. The Roman Viaduct. Pondard was built 2,000 years ago without a single drop of cement. With 3 tiers of arches, the bridge stands 160 feet high and relies entirely on gravity and friction to lock its stones together. For centuries it carried 44 million gallons of water every day, and it's still standing today. So, how do bridges survive in harsh weather? Canada has the answer. Number 17. Canada is called the Great White North for a reason. Rivers freeze and ice sheets can crush ordinary bridge pillars. Confederation Bridge is different. It uses cone-shaped supports that force the ice to ride upward and break under its own weight. At 8 mi long, it's Canada's longest bridge and the world's longest bridge over ice-covered water. Pretty cool engineering. London also has a lot of iconic landmarks, and this next bridge is one of them. Number 16. Tower Bridge. London's most famous bridge uses hidden counterweights inside its towers to lift its massive decks for tall ships. Hydraulic rams, originally steam-powered, tilt it open in minutes, and even today, boats still have the right-of-way, spanning 800 feet. Since 1894, it's opened over 400,000 times. Up next, a symbol of New York. Number 15. Think of New York's skyline, and you probably picture the Brooklyn Bridge. Its 14,000 m of steel wire make the bridge 6 times stronger than it needed to be, ensuring it would never fail. Much of its success comes from Emily Raying, who oversaw the project for years when her husband, the chief engineer, became bedridden. When designing a bridge, you have to think of the unexpected. Number 14. Sydney Harbour Bridge in Australia actually grows and shrinks up to 7 in every day thanks to the sun's heat. To handle this, giant hinges at the base let the bridge breathe as the temperatures change. It was built with 6 million rivets, keeping the steel tightly connected even as it moves. Engineers learned the hard way how to keep this next bridge standing. Number 13. The Tay Bridge disaster of 1879 shocked Scotland, so when engineers designed the nearby Forth Bridge, they took a bold new approach. They used steel, a first for a major British bridge, and a cantilever design to resist the strong winds that caused the earlier collapse. Just north of Edinburgh, it has stood since 1890, and remains one of the strongest rail bridges in the world. Next, let's go to some of the most famous and romantic bridges in the world. Number 12. Venice's Bridge of Sighs was built in 1600 to escort prisoners from the DOA's palace straight to their cells, giving them one last glimpse of the city through a small barred window. Its tight arch has held the limestone in place for over 400 years. Today, it's an Instagram favorite, but for the prisoners who crossed it, that final view came with a sigh. This next bridge is one of the most impressive in the world. Number 11. Øresund Bridge has an identity crisis. It's a bridge and a tunnel in one, connecting Denmark and Sweden. Engineers built it this way to keep air traffic from nearby Copenhagen Airport clear, provide a safe passage for ships, and prevent ice flows from blocking the strait. An artificial island marks the entrance to the tunnel. It's a modern engineering marvel, and it makes for an unforgettable road trip. We've crossed illusions, living roots, floating rafts, DNA twists, and the designs just keep getting more interesting. Next is a bridge which is probably the most famous bridge in the world. Number 10. Tides, fog, and the threat of earthquakes. The Golden Gate Bridge has faced it all, but its biggest threat, it's not nature, it was humans. On its 50th birthday, up to 1 million people poured onto the bridge, adding over 30 million pounds of weight. The arch flattened and the suspension wires groaned, and for a moment, it seemed the bridge might give way. Yet, thanks to its incredible engineering, it held strong. But nature did force designers to rethink this next bridge. Number 9. The Akashi Kaiko Bridge in Japan withstands typhoons and earthquakes, and that came in handy. During construction, a massive quake shifted the foundations, threatening to wreck the plans. But Japanese engineers stretched the central span by 3 feet, turning disaster into a master stroke of engineering. Meanwhile, in Turkey, bridges don't just carry traffic, they have meaning. Number 8. The Çanakkale Bridge in Turkey overtook the Akashi Kaiko Bridge as the world's longest suspension bridge, spanning nearly 6,600 ft. Its design is full of symbolism. The name and tower heights honor a 1915 naval victory, while the length celebrates the centenary of the Turkish Republic. Any guesses about our top spot bridge? Hang around and find out. Number 7. Siberia's Russky Bridge had to be engineered for extreme cold. Where ice buildup can make bridges dangerously heavy, military-grade pylons and de-icing cable sheets prevent ice from accumulating, letting the bridge survive temperatures as low as 40 F. Despite the $1 billion price tag, critics called it a vanity project since only about 25% of the island it connects is actually paved. Next up, when bridges go big. Number 6. The 34mm Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge in China is a massive mega-project linking 3 cable-stayed bridges, an undersea tunnel, and 4 artificial islands, making it the longest sea crossing in the world. Built to last 120 years, it's an engineering marvel, but it's not without its controversy. Dolphin populations near the bridge dropped by 60% between April 2015 and March of 2016, with conservationists blaming the construction project. But China's bridge ambitions didn't stop there. Number 5. If you started driving the Danyang-Kungan Bridge at sunrise, you still wouldn't reach the other end by noon. Carrying high-speed trains over water, rice paddies and marshland, it was built to handle the soft, unstable soil of the Yangtze River Delta. Instead of risking cracks at ground level, engineers lifted the entire line onto more than 2,000 pillars, some 100 ft high. It now holds the Guinness World Record as the longest bridge in the world. So, what do you do when nature throws everything at you? You adapt. Number 4. The Rio-Ontario Bridge in Greece faces just about every challenge imaginable. Deep water, unstable ground, earthquakes, even shifting tectonic plates. So engineers got creative. They reinforced the seabed with hundreds of hollow steel pipes and set the pillars on thick layers of gravel. During an earthquake, the towers are designed to move with the shaking, while the gravel absorbs the energy. That's how the 7,400 ft bridge stays in one piece when the ground doesn't. Let's head over to Scotland where the weather always makes things difficult. Number 3. When engineers designed the Queen's Ferry Crossing, they knew wind would be the real enemy. Frequent gales had shut down the nearby Forth Road Bridge, and it was meant to be the bridge that never closes. But in 2020, Scotland's weather had the last word when ice buildup forced its shutdown. Next up, how about a bridge with a cool party trick? Number 2. Most bridges are static, but not London's Paddington Rolling Bridge. Instead of lifting or swinging, hydraulic pistons contract the walkway, causing the entire structure to curl into a perfect wheel. In seconds, a rigid piece of infrastructure transforms into a self-supporting sculpture. And now finally, this last bridge. It's just showing off. Number 1. The Yangtze River Bridge in China stacks 2 6-lane roads on top of each other to keep Wuhan moving. Costing $1.2 billion and stretching nearly 5,600 ft, it holds the record for the longest double-deck bridge span in the world. The bridge was built with a fully welded steel truss girder structure, which saved 10.2% in steel usage compared to traditional methods. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more videos like this, then please consider subscribing and turn on notifications. Really does make a difference. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time on Map Secret. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more videos like this, then please consider subscribing and turn on notifications. Really does make a difference. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time on Map Secret's World.